Within 1 year of starting my online consulting business, I was able to scale to nearly $60K per month in revenue at around 80% profit margins. So today, I'll be sharing with you exactly, step by step, how I was able to achieve that so that you can copy and paste this process for your own business. Hey guys, my name is Lloyd Yip, and I've helped over 130 plus clients around the world scale their businesses by building epic sales and marketing systems. Now, this story is one about sacrifice, because the truth is that first year that I spent building my business, I was doing essentially nothing else but working on the business. I wasn't socializing, I wasn't dating. I pretty much locked myself in my home office for 12 hours a day for a month, including weekends, in order to get the result that I got. So what I'm about to share with you is not at all a get rich quick process. It was more live a completely unbalanced and arguably unhealthy lifestyle in order to build a business type of process. Now, you might not want to do that, and that's fine, right? Just have the self-awareness to know that if this is really important to you, and if you want to get there with speed, you almost have to make that level of sacrifice. But of course, not everyone's going to want that, and it's totally cool to reach your goals slower or with more balance. Now, I do also want to say that part of the reason why I was able to get to that number as quickly as I did was because I was already fairly skilled. I had been in the world of sales and marketing at that point for almost 8 or so years. I had done door-to-door sales, so I was pretty good at getting rejected and just communicating. And I had also spent a lot of time working at software startups, so I understood the technology and the operational side of things. These experiences massively sped up my results when it came to business. And if I didn't already have these in my toolkit, it probably would have taken me 2 to 3 times as long for me to have gotten to that level of success. So if you're entering your business with very minimal sales or marketing skills, you're probably not going to succeed as quickly as I did, even if you're working your ass off. Not really here to tell you what you want to hear, more here to tell you what you probably have to hear and setting realistic expectations. This is also why I'm sharing a ton of free content with everyone here on my YouTube channel about lead generation, sales, and marketing, because even if you haven't worked in the roles that I did, just consuming my content will allow you to get to 80% of the knowledge that I had so that you can really hit your business quickly with momentum. With that being said, let's just get straight into what it is that I actually did from month 1 to month 12 in order for me to hit my 55K per month revenue mark. Now, the first step is you need to identify your ideal target market and offer. And when I first began my business, I figured, you know what? My background is in software. I've worked at SaaS startups. I've worked at software businesses. This is the type of company that I want to be able to serve. I understand the space really well. So that's pretty much where I spent my first 6 months of operations, helping them, finding them, prospecting to them. And I already inherently knew their struggles on the day-to-day because I had been working inside their organizations for a long time. So it was really easy for me to speak the language of those founders, of the people that I needed to connect with inside those organizations. And that's my recommendation to you as well. Pick an audience that you already have understood because you've either been in their shoes yourself or you've worked closely with them. And it's really important that you do pick one specific audience, because if you try to go too broad or too general, the issue will come up that you're just giving too much of a general value proposition, or you're not able to speak their language closely enough that they really feel as though you deeply understand their situation. It also just makes it much harder for you to do your marketing, because if you're going after just literally any business-to-business organization, for example, how are you going to even build a marketing campaign? There's almost too large of an audience for you to be prospecting into, whether it be doing outreach or doing content marketing. Having a narrower audience allows you to hone in on both the marketing campaign side of things, but also it allows your marketing message to be much more precise, that you're helping this very particular individual, helping their specific problems. Now, I actually was doing this step prior to even launching my business. I did a big chunk of this actually while I was still working my 9-to-5 job, but this process actually took me a couple months to even think through properly. Now, the next step that I took after I already had figured out my audience was reaching out to them. And initially, I chose LinkedIn to be my primary vehicle and channel of reaching out, because I figured, you know what, a lot of SaaS business owners, startup people, business-to-business organizations, they spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. This seems to make a lot of sense. And that's a lesson that you should be taking in, regardless of which audience you're going after. Really think through, where does my ideal customer base spend their time? Is it Instagram? Is it Facebook? Is it Reddit? Is it LinkedIn? So for the first couple months, this is actually all I did. I went on LinkedIn, I identified where my audience was inside the platform, and luckily LinkedIn does make it pretty easy for you to actually identify people based on job title or industry, and then I just sent out 100 messages every single day to that ideal audience. And the nice thing is, my process with LinkedIn was also taking advantage of some softwares and automated tools, which allowed me to get a lot of this stuff done in less time. And if you're curious, I actually have this video right here that goes into how I actually automated some of my LinkedIn process so I can get more done with minimal effort. Doing this, I was actually able to sell my first couple deals at around $1,000 a month. So by no means was it high ticket offers yet, nor should it have been, because obviously in these early days, I was still trying to figure out what I was selling. I wasn't super good at what I was doing yet. I wasn't super confident either. So it made sense for me to be selling a little bit of a lower ticket offer. And doing this allowed me to get to around $5,000 per month in revenue. And this entire LinkedIn process probably was the majority of my work from month 1 to month 3. Now, the next step beyond LinkedIn, which occurred from month 3 to month 6, was I expanded my channels into Facebook. So at this point, I had already had a couple customers. I already had some case studies and testimonials where people were pretty excited about the results that I had gotten them. And because of my experiences, I was able to start thinking about content creation. I wanted to document what it was that I was doing to get my own results and also the results for my customers. And what I stumbled upon was that there were lots of Facebook groups that actually contained entrepreneurship communities. Facebook groups with business owners, not just in software, but also other coaches and consultants and agency owners who are thinking about building their business. So what I did actually was I created a bunch of different articles, which I posted on these Facebook groups, and some of them actually went really, really viral. You can see here, a ton of people were literally commenting on my posts, which were just me documenting on how I was getting clients for myself or what things were working with my own customers. And all of these people who were saying, wow, this content is really valuable, many of them would actually DM me. And the ones who didn't DM me, I could actually DM them proactively. And in the conversation, I could actually convince them to jump on a call, and I could actually give them some recommendations and potentially help them scale their own companies. So this was when things really started taking off, because LinkedIn was working well, but I wasn't really booking more than 3 to 5 meetings a week at that point. Once I was able to solve this Facebook group, content calendar, and DMing process, I was starting to book from 10 to 15 meetings every single week with my ideal audience. And it was at this point that not only was I starting to close a lot more deals, I actually raised my pricing to a 4.5K package instead of just charging people a $1,000 per month retainer. And this really helped the business grow massively. At the end of this 6-month process, I actually broke my first 15K per month mark, and I was well on my way to even hitting 20K months very, very soon after. Now, if you're curious about this Facebook process that I was talking about using groups and content and DMing in order to book meetings, I actually have this video that goes into deeper depth about how I actually did that. So you can pretty much just copy and paste this method for yourself. Now, before I go into the rest of how the year played out, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, because every single week I release multiple videos that talk about how you as an entrepreneur can scale your business. And please comment below if you've already began your business and tell me how far you've gotten along and what channels have been working best for you to get your customers. Now, from month 6 to month 12, the theme of my business was hiring and delegating, because the problem at the half-year mark was that things were almost going too well. LinkedIn was running, Facebook was running, we were booking 10 to 15 meetings a week, sometimes even more than that. And we had hundreds of DMs across every channel that we had to respond to every single day. Now, this was really good because we were obviously generating clients and we were closing deals, but it took up a lot of my time because I was spending so much time on social media, to the point where I was working maybe 80 hours a week, and I really was sacrificing not only my social life, but even my health. I actually had to go to physio to fix my back because I was starting to have back spasms, because I was pretty much just hunched over my desk every single day without ever moving. During this time frame, I actually just decided to hire my first full-time employee. I found an appointment setter, a sales guy that could pretty much spend all his time in my direct messages on both LinkedIn and Facebook to book calls for me. It was amazing because this immediately doubled the amount of sales calls that I was booking on a per week basis, but it also saved me around 20 to 30 hours a week of work that I used to have to do on my own, but now I was able to delegate it to my employee. This enabled me to close significantly more deals and maintain my sanity. And the cool thing is, because Luigi, who's the name of my setter, was able to work on this stuff full time, he had get additional capacity to add even more marketing channels. So this is actually when I started to do some targeted social media reach outs to really qualified prospects on top of what I was already doing. So this was my third marketing channel, and that increased the number of meetings I was actually able to book. My lesson here is that delegation is massively important. You really want to be removing all the tasks that you can off your plate that isn't a CEO mandatory task. Certainly booking meetings is not something that a business owner needs to be doing. It can be offloaded. Your time as a CEO is really better spent on higher leverage activities that can really grow the business. For example, once I was able to delegate my LinkedIn and Facebook DMing to Luigi, I was able to think about how can I build other marketing channels that can even generate leads and more booked calls into my day. Now, if you're curious on how I actually hire a setter, I actually have an ultimate guide that goes into extreme depth about not only what a good setter looks like, but how to actually go about finding them and hiring them and even training them. So by the end of these 12 months, I've saw multiple marketing channels, I had a small team working with me, and I was now successfully generating between 50 to 60K per month on average. I do want to share a little bit about what happened after my first year. And if I'm being entirely honest, and this is a little bit embarrassing to say, but things didn't continue growing as I would have liked. From month 12 to month 18, the business actually started to decrease in revenue. A lot of things were not really going my way. Some of my channels that were working before with both LinkedIn and Facebook, the algorithms changed and some of the rules changed, and the leads that I was generating from those channels started to dry up. Instead of booking 20 calls a week, my call volume started going down to even below 10. My business revenue literally got cut in half from a month-to-month perspective, and I felt a ton of pressure from other competition that was coming in and trying to sell similar offers to me. And at the worst part of this, I started to have panic attacks and a ton of anxiety because I was judging myself massively and treating myself as though I was a failure. In fact, if you want to dig deeper into this story of how my business had almost completely collapsed, I have this video right here that talks about my failure story. But the real takeaway that I actually had from this entire failure of an experience is that it's important that you continue to innovate and pivot. Because my solution to this was that I actually transformed my entire business and added a brand new product line, which was essentially a done-for-you recruiting business for appointment setters. I would hire people's appointment setters for them, and I would train their appointment setters for them in the art of sales. And it was actually my willingness to go and evolve and innovate and try something new because my old business was failing that allowed me to bring my business pretty much back to life. So that's huge, right? Because as time goes on, the landscape of your competition and of marketing in general will always change. And what works today doesn't necessarily work forever. So you have to be okay with continuously reinventing yourself and treating every single day like a brand new day. That's pretty much what I spent my full second year on, right? I was able to scale my business back to 50K per month. I hired more people, including a full-time hiring manager. And now you flash forward all the way to the present. My biggest project is YouTube. I'm trying to build this big brand around YouTube, creating this epic content that can add value to people. And that way I can continue to build out my coaching, consulting, and agency offer to help people just like you who are trying to scale up their online businesses with growth. And I really do believe that YouTube is the future because frankly, I think that in 2023 and beyond, the real way to get customers long-term is to add value and build thought leadership. Just doing cold outreach on LinkedIn and Facebook doesn't work as well anymore because people are really skeptical of just getting cold pitched. Whereas YouTube, you're truly building an audience of people who know, like, and trust you. And by the time that they end up booking a sales call with you, they already want to buy because they've seen so many hours of your content. In fact, if you actually want to look deeper into why I believe YouTube is the best thing to spend time on for all agency owners and consultants and coaches, then check out this video here where I pretty much document exactly my thought process behind this entire thing. With that being said, if you're really curious about how you can scale your business and you're relatively new in your company, check out my masterclass below. I actually document how you can scale from 0 to 20K per month in literally just 90 days, and that you can download for free in the description box below. If you actually just want to talk to me directly though, then just book a call with me. That's actually also in the description box below, and we can jump on a quick chat together and give you a couple recommendations totally for free. And if none of that seems interesting, then listen, I have a bunch more videos here that I've recorded which can add massive value, gives you tons of additional insight on how you can build your business as an entrepreneur. So definitely check out some of these videos right here. I hope this was a valuable video for today, and I will see you next time. Cheers.